Welcome to your Algebra 2 Semester Test Review. This video will cover numbers 17 through 25. On number 17, it says, identify the mistakes made in the first step of solving the given quadratic equation and explain what they should have done. Provide the correct solution with complete work shown below. So if you take a look, this is set equal to 0. This is your A, here's your B, and here's your C. And the quadratic equation formula looks like this. Negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac, all of it over 2a. Okay? So what they have done is they have taken a b. So as you can see, here's one problem right here. Instead of negative 4, this should have been a positive 4, because negative b, your b, is a negative 4, and a negative 4 times a negative 4 is a positive 4. So that part right there should have been a negative. Makes that a positive. Now look at your b right here. What they have done is, when you are writing this in the calculator, it's going to follow order of operation. So they should have put parentheses around it, because when you square a negative, that's negative 4 times negative 4 makes it a positive 16. Everything else is just fine, okay? So here is your correct procedure. So first off, this here should have been a positive, and they should have put parentheses around there. So those are the couple of mistakes. So here is the correct way. X equals negative b plus or minus, okay, square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times your A times your C, all of that over 2 times A. Notice the correction. The parentheses and that part right there. Okay? So let's continue with the math. So now you have 4 plus or minus. I'm going to go ahead and go to my calculator, and I'm going to type it just like I see it. Okay? So you'll have parentheses negative 4 squared minus 4 times your A times your C, and that comes out to be negative 44, which, as you know, negative under the radical becomes a positive. By bringing out an I, square root of 44, all of that over 6. Okay? I'm going to go up here real quick and try to simplify square root of 44 if I can. There's my I. Factors of 44 is 4 and 11. Factors of 4 is 2 and 2. I have 2 of a kind with 1 left over, so I have 2i square root of 11. And that's what I'm going to replace this with. Okay? So now you have 4 plus or minus 2i square root of 11 over 6. Cover up your radical sign. Is there a number that goes into 4, 2, and 6? Absolutely. So I'm going to divide every one of these by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, excuse me. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So your final answer is 2 plus or minus I square root of 11 over 3. Not like terms, you cannot combine them, and there's my 2 imaginary solutions. As you can see, it was negative 44, and that's why you have 2 imaginary solutions. Number 18, it says, using long division and pattern of the powers of I, determine the value of each. Okay? The pattern is every 4. So if you take 110, divide that by 4, okay, and you can do long division. 4 goes into 11 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Remember doing this a long time ago? That gives you 30. 4 goes into 30 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. And what do you have left? You have a 2 left, which is I squared. I squared is the same thing as negative 1. And there's your solution. Okay. Now, I would do it like this. I would take I raised to the power of 110. Ignore that. Isolate it, and you have negative 1. Same thing. Okay. Let's do number 19. Number 19, you have 1439. We're going to divide that by 4 as well. 4 goes into 14 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract 14 from 12. 12 from 14 is 2. Bring down your 3. 4 goes into 23 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Leaves you 3. Bring down your 9. 4 goes into 39 9 times. 9 times 4 is 36 with a 3 left over. Okay? That's the same thing as I to the third. And an I to the third is the same as negative I. And there you have your solution. Okay? Always simplify. Your choice answers has to be either a 1, a negative 1, an I, or a negative I. Those are your only 4 choices when you are simplifying. Number 20. You have binomials and you're going to multiply them together. Okay? I like my students to just multiply the first term times all of these, just like that. So 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. 6 times positive 6i is positive 36i. Then you take this one and multiply times all of them as well. Negative 5i times negative 5 is positive 25i. Negative 5i times 6i is negative 30i squared. Remember that an I squared is the same as negative 1. So what is negative 30 times negative 1? Makes that a positive 30. Now combine your like terms. Okay? Well, what's negative 30 plus 30? That gives you 0. So now you have 36i plus 25i. That comes out to be 61i. Okay. 21. Order of operation. Please do the exponentials first, but you can still multiply that. So I'm going to put negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Negative 2 times 6i is negative 12i. Plus, notice I have a square, so I have 2 of these. I cannot combine those, and I cannot add these until I multiply them. So you have negative 10 minus 12i. Okay, go ahead and take care of this part. 2 times all of that, so it becomes 4 plus 12i. 6i times all of this, so 6i times 2 is positive 12i plus 36i squared. Okay? That is the same thing as negative 36. Combine all your like terms. So you have negative 10 plus 4 minus 36. Comes out to be negative 42. Try to write your real numbers first. Then you have negative 12 plus negative 12i plus 12i, which is 0, plus 12i. And that comes out to be positive 12i. And that's in the form of a plus bi. 22. Okay. You have an imaginary denominator, you have to use your conjugate. Got to get rid of that imaginary solution. Conjugate of negative 7 plus 2i is negative 7 minus 2i. What you do to the denominator, you do to the numerator. And I know that if you put parentheses around this, it might make it easier for you to take care of. Okay? So, draw your line. Numerator goes on top, denominator goes on the bottom. So, same thing. 2 times all of that. 2 times negative 7, negative 14. 2 times negative 2i, minus 4i. 2i times negative 7, negative 14i. 2i times negative 2i is negative 4i squared. Okay? Denominator. Negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. Negative 7 times negative 2i is plus 14i. 2i times all of this comes out to be negative 14i. 2i times negative 2i is negative 4i squared. As you can see, this becomes a positive 4, and this also becomes a positive 4. And now let's simplify. Negative 14 plus 4 is negative 10. Negative 4i plus 14i is negative 18i. All of that, these guys cancel. 49 plus 4 is 53. Can't make it any smaller. There's your solution. Number 23. Got to get rid of that I in the denominator. Let's use the conjugate. Conjugate of 4 minus I is 4 plus I. Just like your previous problem, okay? Let's draw my line. Okay. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times I is positive 2I. Negative 7 times 4 is negative 28I. Negative 7I times I is negative 7I squared, which, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and make it a positive 7. Okay. Your denominator, 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times I is positive 4I. And then this one times all of that, negative 4I minus I squared, which is a positive 1. Okay? Let's combine some like terms. 8 plus 7 is 15. 2I minus 28I is minus 26I. These are canceled, so 16 plus 1 is 17. Can't make it any smaller. So there's your solution. Okay? 24, we are going to factor. Make sure you don't have any greatest common factor. Nothing goes into 2, 9, and 10. Okay? So you're going to take 2 times 10. We're going to do the bottoms up method. So you got plus 20. You're going to add 2 numbers, and they're going to add up to be negative 9b. So what are those 2 numbers? 4 and 5. And both of them have to be a negative. Keep in mind, your a is a 2. That's going to come into play later. Okay? So you got x minus 4, x minus 5. Divide each one of your numbers by a. So now you have x minus 2. Notice you can't simplify this anymore, so we're going to move the 2 from the bottoms up. And so now you have 2x minus 5. And there you have factor. 25. Okay? Let's see if you have any in common, greatest common factor. Not a 1. Remember, your a is a 3. That's going to play a factor later. So 3 times 30 is positive 90. You want 2 numbers. That's going to add up to give you 90. I'm sorry. That's going to multiply to give you 90, and it's going to add up to give you negative 23. So both of these numbers has to be a negative. So if you don't know where to start, guys, do not just sit there. Start dividing. You notice how 90 is an even number? So 90 divided by 2. Does that add up to be 23? No. 90 divided by 3. Does that add up to be 23? No. 90 divided by 4. Not a whole number. Move along. 90 divided by 5. Does that add up to be 23? Absolutely. So 5 and 18. Because negative 5 times negative 18 is positive 90. Negative 5 minus 18 is negative 23. Okay? So let's rewrite. R minus 5, R minus 18. You remember that A? Divide each of your numbers by that A. Can't simplify that, so the bottom comes up. So you have 3R minus 5. How about negative 18 over 3? Well, that's the same as 6. And there you have factor. Good luck on your test.